If you've ever walked through a casino and felt like certain slot machines hate you, you're not imagining it. Some machines really aren't built to pay out often, and ex-casino employees will tell you. They can spot them from across the floor. These aren't the machines players talk about hitting big on. These are the quiet ones. The ones you walk past 100 times. The ones that look fun, look harmless, look tempting, but almost never send anyone home with more than pocket change. And here's the part most players never realize. These machines aren't tight because they unlucky. They're tight because they're designed that way, by the manufacturer, by the floor manager, and by the house strategy that decides exactly where every machine should sit. I once heard a former slot tech say something that stuck with me. Some machines are just there to make money, not memories. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. You're going to learn which machines almost never pay out, and why casinos hide them in plain sight. Because once you can spot them, you'll never look at the casino floor the same way again. Why some machines were never meant to pay you back. Walk into any casino and you'll notice something strange once you start paying attention. Not every slot machine is designed with the same purpose. Sure, they all flash, they all sing, they all promise excitement, but a few of them are quietly engineered for one job only: to take your money faster than you can blink. And here's the part most players never realize. These machines aren't broken, and they aren't bad luck. They're placed, programmed, and maintained to perform exactly the way the casino wants. I remember an ex-floor tech telling me, "We knew which machines were ice cold before players even sat down. They were built that way." That stuck with me. Because once you understand how slots are actually designed, you stop blaming yourself for losing, and you start spotting the patterns behind the curtain. Across the casino world, payback percentages vary widely, from the mid-80s in tourist traps to the mid-90s in competitive markets. But a handful of machines sit way below the average, quietly siphoning money all day long. These aren't just volatile machines. They're low-return, high-temptation traps. Your first step is recognizing them before you feed them a single dollar. Before you sit down, search the casino's online payback reports or look for slot types known for lower RTP. Don't play blind, play informed. The casino floor trick: why cold machines sit in hot spots. If you've ever walked into a casino and felt like the machines closest to you were calling your name, that's not an accident. Casinos design their floor layouts the way theme parks design ride entrances, to guide your eyes, your feet, and eventually your wallet. And one of the oldest insider tricks is placing the tightest machines in the busiest spots. A former slot attendant once told me, "If a machine gets tons of foot traffic, it doesn't need a high payout. People will play it anyway." That line reveals almost everything. Think about it. Machines near entrances, walkways, food courts, and table game pits? They look inviting because you're already passing by. You're relaxed. You're in just one spin mode. But these prime locations are usually home to the lowest return machines, the ones designed to capitalize on impulse players. Meanwhile, the higher paying games are often tucked deeper into the floor, away from distractions. You practically have to choose to find them. And here's what most players never notice. Casinos rotate floor layouts constantly. A machine that was decent last month can end up cold today simply because the casino moved it into a more profitable zone. Before playing, take a slow walk through the floor. Avoid machines placed by escalators, main aisles, entrances, and anywhere you can hear loud foot traffic. The best-paying machines rarely live where the crowds do. The eye candy trap: why branded slots almost never pay well. There's a reason casinos put entire walls of licensed, movie-themed, celebrity-branded slots front and center. These machines look incredible: high-definition screens, surround sound bonus rounds, characters you recognize instantly. They feel fun, familiar, safe. And that's exactly the problem. Branded slots cost casinos and manufacturers far more to license, so they need to make that money back. And they usually do it the same way: lower base returns and harder to trigger bonuses. An ex-slot tech once told me, "If you see a machine with a famous face on it, assume it's tighter than a drum." And he wasn't joking. Think about it. If you're playing a machine because you love a movie, a musician, or a TV show, you're not focused on the math. You're hooked by nostalgia. Casinos know this, and they lean into it. These games grab attention, attract casual players, and keep you spinning because the experience feels entertaining, even when the payouts aren't. What most players never notice is how these machines are tuned. Yes, they can pay. Anything can hit. But the long-term numbers almost always fall below similar non-branded games. You're paying extra for the theme, even if you don't realize it. If you enjoy licensed games, set a smaller budget and treat them purely as entertainment. For better long-term results, choose classic, non-branded machines with simpler math and higher RTP listings. Progressive Mirage. Why chase jackpot machines pay the least day-to-day? If you've ever stood in front of a towering slot with a glowing, life-changing jackpot ticking upward, you've felt the pull of a progressive machine. They're hypnotic. They promise a moment that could rewrite your life in a single spin. But here's the truth most casual players miss. The bigger the jackpot, the worse the everyday payouts usually are. Progressive machines funnel a portion of every bet into that rising prize pool. That money has to come from somewhere, and it usually comes from the machine's base return, meaning fewer small and medium wins, more dry spells, and longer losing streaks. A former slot attendant once joked, "Progressives are like lottery tickets that let you lose slowly." And here's what most players never notice. On some networks, dozens, even hundreds, of machines feed into the same jackpot. That creates excitement, sure, but it also means the machine you re-sitting at is part of a giant system designed to drain players across multiple casinos before paying one huge prize. Players often think, but someone has to win it. And they're right, someone will. But the everyday player, the one spinning casually, is almost always sacrificing return for a long-shot fantasy. If you play progressives, choose ones with lower starting jackpots. Machines with modest top prizes typically offer much better base RTP, meaning more consistent play and longer entertainment. The low-denom deception. Why penny slots drain your bankroll fastest? Penny slots sound harmless. The name alone feels friendly, like you're making the safest, smallest bet in the casino. But every ex-casino employee will tell you the same thing. Penny slots are some of the tightest, most expensive machines on the entire floor. And the reason is surprisingly simple. Casinos know that low-denomination games attract casual players. They know people will sit longer, spin more often, and chase bonus rounds because it feels cheap. But here's the part most players miss. Penny slots rarely allow you to bet just 1 cent. With multiple lines, features, and side bets, the real minimum is usually 40 cents, 80 cents, sometimes over $1 per spin. And those flashy, rapid-fire reels? They're designed to create fast betting loops. In a few minutes, you can unintentionally wager more than you would on a slower, higher-denom game with better returns. A former slot mechanic once told me, "We kept penny machines because they were the most profitable per square foot, not because people won on them." That should tell you everything. Even worse, penny slots historically carry some of the lowest RTP percentages, often in the mid-80s. That means for every $100 wagered over time, the machine is designed to return far less than higher-denom options. If you enjoy long play sessions, consider stepping up to nickel, quarter, or dollar machines with simpler math and higher returns. You'll often spend less and win more over the long run. The bonus trap. Why feature-rich slots pay less and regular spins? Walk up to any modern slot machine and you'll notice something instantly. Features. Dozens of them. Free spins, wild reels, lock-on bonuses, mystery triggers, pick-a-prize rounds, and animated characters that pop out of nowhere to boost your luck. It all feels exciting. It feels rewarding. But here's what most players never realize. The more features a slot advertises, the more of its RTP is locked inside rare bonus rounds you may not hit often. An ex-slot designer once explained it like this: players love flashy bonuses, but those features have to be funded. So the base game gets tighter. In other words, you're trading frequent small wins for the chance at one big, cinematic moment. And here's the problem. Many players never see that moment. They sit for long stretches, feeding the machine, waiting for the bonus to hit, only to discover the payout doesn't match the effort. The casino knows bonus anticipation keeps you spinning longer than logic says you should. Even worse, feature-heavy games often introduce dead spins, long, dry stretches where nothing meaningful happens. That silence isn't bad luck. It's part of the math. Count how often the base game pays anything at all within your first 10 spins. If it's mostly dead, walk away. A healthy machine should show signs of life early, even if bonuses are rare. The fast spin problem. How high-speed machines quietly empty your wallet. One of the biggest shifts in modern slot design isn't the graphics, the bonuses, or even the jackpots. It's the speed. Today's machines spin faster, stop quicker, and reset almost instantly. You barely have a moment to process a win or a loss before the next spin button is begging for another tap. And that speed isn't an accident. It's a business model. An ex-casino supervisor once told me, a fast machine is a profitable machine. And when you watch players on these lightning-paced games, you understand why. Instead of 10 spins per minute, some players hit 30, 40, even 50. Even with small bet sizes, that velocity adds up faster than most people realize. Here's what most players miss. Speed creates the illusion of control. You feel engaged, active, in the zone. That state, what researchers call the machine zone, keeps you spinning long after your brain stops tracking your losses. The machine isn't just designed to take bets, it's designed to erase time. And fast-spinning slots often hide another trick. Micro-wins, tiny payouts that are smaller than your bet. They light up the screen and make you feel like you're winning, even while your balance keeps dropping. Before you start, check the spin duration. If the reels barely pause, slow yourself down manually. Add a brief pause between spins. You'll bet less, think more clearly, and stay in control. The due for a win illusion. Why cold machines stay cold. Every slot player, at some point, has stared at a machine and thought, this thing has to hit soon. Maybe you've seen someone lose for an hour straight. Maybe you've watched hundreds of spins with no bonus. Maybe the machine even flashes a since last jackpot counter that tempts you to believe a payout is coming. But here's the truth ex-casino employees repeat over and over. A cold machine isn't getting warmer. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. Slots don't track fairness. They don't balance out streaks. They don't say, okay, this player suffered enough. Time to pay them back. Each spin is independent, driven by a random number generator that resets every time you hit the button. A losing streak is just that, a streak, not a sign of a future win. One former slot tech told me, I watch players sit on ice-cold machines because they thought the next bonus was guaranteed. But that machine could have stayed dead all night. And often it did. The illusion happens because players are wired to look for patterns, even when none exist. Your brain wants to predict the unpredictable, and the casino benefits every time you trust that feeling instead of the math. If your machine goes 20 to 30 spins with no meaningful payout, don't assume a win is coming. Assume the machine is cold. Stand up and leave before the illusion costs you. The almost win trick. How near misses keep you playing longer. One of the most powerful psychological tools built into modern slot machines isn't the jackpot, the bonus, or even the lights. It's the near miss. That moment when two jackpot symbols land, and the third stops just one position above or below the line. You feel it in your chest. Your heart jumps. For a split second, it feels like you almost won something huge. And that feeling is exactly what the designers want. A former slot programmer once put it bluntly. Near misses are engineered frustration. They're not random accidents or glitches. They're part of the math. The machine shows you just enough hope to trigger excitement, adrenaline, and the belief that a big win is right there. But statistically, you're no closer to a jackpot after a near miss than you were before it. Most players don't realize how powerful this effect is. Near misses activate the same reward centers in the brain as actual wins, just without paying you anything. That means you get the rush, but the machine keeps your money. It's one of the oldest, most effective tricks in the casino playbook. And here's the part that keeps players trapped. After a near miss, your brain automatically thinks, I'm close. I can't walk away now. Treat near misses like losses. If a machine keeps teasing you, it's not guiding you toward a win. It's guiding you towards spending more. Frequent small wins, the machines that pay. But never enough. Some slot machines feel good to play. You sit down, spin a few times, and almost instantly you get a tiny win. Then another. Then another. Your balance dances up and down, maybe slipping slowly, but not crashing the way penny progressives sometimes do. And that little rhythm keeps you hooked because it feels like the machine is active, alive, or fair. But here's the truth ex-casino workers repeat constantly. Machines that pay small wins frequently often have some of the lowest long-term returns. Why? Because those constant tiny payouts, 20 cents on a 75-cent spin, 10 cents on a dollar, aren't wins. They're disguised losses. Your brain registers the noise, the lights, and the celebration. But mathematically, you're losing almost every spin. A former casino host once put it this way: players love machines that make noise, even if the noise is the sound of losing slowly. And that's exactly the point. These games mask steady decline with feel-good reinforcement. You walk away thinking, I almost broke even, when really you just leaked money in slow motion. What most players never notice is that these machines usually have shallow volatility. They're not built to pay big. They're built to keep you sitting longer. Track your balance after every 20 spins. If you're winning often, but still drifting downward, you're in a disguised loss loop. Switch to a machine with larger, but less frequent, payout potential. The multi-line illusion: why more lines equals more losses. One of the biggest traps newer slot players fall into is the excitement of multi-line betting. When you sit at a machine and see 20, 40, even 100 pay lines flashing across the screen, it feels like you're increasing your chances. More lines must mean more ways to win, right? Well, that's exactly what the casino wants you to think. But here's the insider truth. Multi-line machines usually get you to spend far more per spin than you realize, while paying far less than you expect. A former slot attendant once said, the more lines a player activates, the faster their bankroll melts, because they stop noticing the real cost per spin. And she was right. Most players walk in thinking they're playing a penny machine. But with 100 lines at 1 cent each and a 2x or 3x multiplier, you're suddenly betting $1 or more every single spin without a second thought. And here's the psychological twist. When you hit a win, even if it's smaller than your total bet, the machine celebrates wildly. Lights flash, music plays, your brain gets the reward, but your wallet doesn't. Multi-line slots are engineered to create the illusion of constant action while quietly draining you. Before spinning, manually calculate your real cost per spin. If you're betting more than planned, reduce the lines, or pick a machine with fewer, more meaningful pay lines. The fake build-up mechanic. Why metered features don't mean a win is coming. Some of the most deceptive machines on the casino floor are the ones that make you feel like you're working towards something. You know the type. Meters that slowly fill, pots that look like they're about to burst, dragons climbing higher, coins stacking up, lights inching toward a bonus. It feels like progress. It feels like you're getting closer. But here's the insider truth ex-casino workers always stress. Meter buildup almost never reflects when a feature will actually trigger. A former slot technician once explained it perfectly. Those meters are entertainment. They aren't promises. In other words, the pot filling up isn't a countdown. It's a visual trick designed to keep you seated. The feature will trigger when the RNG decides, not when the meter looks full. And the harshest part? Some machines are programmed so the pot can overflow or the meter can max out dozens of times without awarding anything meaningful. You think you're on the edge of something big, but mathematically, you're nowhere closer than on your very first spin. Many players stay because they feel invested. They've put in the work. They don't want someone else sitting down and getting their bonus. But the truth? There is no their bonus. There is only the next random event. If a machine relies heavily on meters, pots, or build-up graphics, set a firm exit point. Never stay just because something looks close. The volatility trap. Why high volatility machines crush casual players. There's a certain type of slot machine that feels electric the moment you sit down. Maybe the bets are higher. Maybe the graphics are sharper. Maybe the payouts listed on the screen look massive, hundreds, even thousands of times your bet. These are high volatility slots, and ex-casino employees will tell you. They some of the most dangerous machines for the average player. High volatility games are designed to hit rarely, but big. They lure players with the thrill of chasing that huge win. But the truth is, most players never reach the moment where the win actually happens. A former floor attendant once said, people love volatility until they experience it. Then they realize it's just long stretches of losing. On these machines, you can go 50, 100, even 200 spins with nothing significant happening. That's not bad luck, it's the design. And if your bankroll can't survive the dry spells, you'll tap out long before you ever see the feature that justifies the machinist's math. What makes these slots so dangerous is the illusion of potential. Players tell themselves, one bonus could turn everything around. But without a deep bankroll and strict discipline, volatility turns that excitement into frustration fast. If you're playing a high volatility machine, set a maximum number of dead spins you're willing to tolerate. If you hit that number, walk away, no exceptions. The smart player shift. How to outsmart the coldest machines on the floor. By now, you've seen the patterns: low-return machines, psychological tricks, placement strategies, fake progress mechanics, volatility traps, and the illusion of control. And here's what every ex-casino employee eventually learns. The players who win more aren't luckier. They're calmer, clearer, and far more selective than everyone else. Smart players don't chase machines. They don't trust feelings, or they don't get hypnotized by speed, sound, or flashing lights. Instead, they treat the casino like what it truly is: an entertainment venue filled with engineered experiences. Once you see through the design, you stop getting pulled into the traps that drain most players. A former slot tech once told me, the best players weren't the ones who knew secrets. They were the ones who knew themselves. And that mindset is everything. The goal isn't to beat the house. It's to avoid playing the house's game on autopilot. Here's the real shift. You don't need to play every machine. You don't need to chase bonuses. You don't need to sit through cold streaks or fill up meters or almost wins. You choose your game, your pace, and your exit point. That's the power casinos can't design around. Pro player checklist. Pick simpler machines with transparent bets. Avoid high-traffic placement traps. Leave after 20 to 30 dead spins. Treat near misses and micro wins as losses. Play for entertainment, not rescue missions. If you've made it this far, you now understand something most players never will. Slot machines aren't mysterious, magical, or moody. They're engineered experiences, carefully designed, precisely placed, and built around patterns you can finally see for what they are. And once you see the patterns, you stop falling for the traps. Now you know which machines almost never pay out. You know the signs of a cold game. You know how casinos use psychology, placement, pacing, sound, and illusion to shape every decision you make at the reels. But more importantly, you now have something the casino can't program into a machine: awareness. Awareness changes everything. It slows you down. It helps you choose smarter. It protects your wallet. And it keeps the casino exactly where it belongs, in the entertainment category, not the survival category. Because at the end of the day, playing slots should feel exciting, not draining. You don't chase machines. You don't chase losses. You don't chase almost wins. You choose your game, your budget, and your exit, and you stick to it. So the next time you step onto a casino floor, ask yourself, now that you know the truth, which machines will you avoid first?